we teensy. The girls are teensy. And so they want, sometimes they have sex for the hairdo, for the nails. And so you have a boyfriend for whatever commodity they could get. And the boys normally want sex. And so you'll find that you'll have an increase in females for various reasons. But definitely we see them more often in the clinics than men. My name is Jessica Stubbs. I'm a community health nurse, nursing officer 1, the coordinator of the STI program. The highest rate is between the 15-year-olds and the 29-year-olds, those that are in school and those who just entered into the workforce. So for our high school students, it's very high, and it carries over into the workplace. Well, it's interesting. HIV is also an STI, and we have persons who are born with that, so we can have from the womb. We also have babies born with syphilis, and so STIs could be from birth based on the transmission. But as far as those who acquire through sexual activities, you could have it. Well, we have persons having sex from the age of 10. So our statistic starts from 10 and over. Less than 10 will be the children who are probably born with it. Females are usually the ones with the highest numbers, and it's for various reasons. Men don't go to clinic. Men don't get checkup. We have females who get pregnant, and antenatal care. There's STI screening throughout. Also family planning, those who come for birth control, STI screening. So you will get infections in those group of persons, and definitely the women, the female. But actually as well, sexual activities. You know, you could have 5 girls to 1 man, or 1 male. So yeah, females. Chlamydia is most common, and mainly because chlamydia is one of those infections that you don't have any symptoms. So persons can have it, both male and female, and not know. When we would test them, like I mentioned, antenatal and family planning, we found that a lot of them are infected with chlamydia, and then gonorrhea as well. So we have what I call a combo with all fries and drinks, the chlamydia and gonorrhea. So we do have a lot of that. We do have the combo factor. And there is syphilis is on, like I mentioned, is on the rise. And but hepatitis has always been there. And then HIV. HIV is an STI. Some people don't think so, but it is. And so chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis, they are the leading ones. Okay, HIV is when a person gets infected with the HIV virus. Okay, AIDS is when they get sick as a result of the virus being in the body. The virus multiplies and it destroys the C cells, the TC cells, or CD4 cells, the immune system. It destroys the immune system, and persons get sick. That is AIDS. Once they get sick, it is AIDS. So you don't catch AIDS. You get HIV. You progress to AIDS. Well, we do have a HIV coordinator, but what we found too, because HIV itself, you would not know that you have an HIV infection because it could take up to 10 years to show symptoms. Gonorrhea, that can show up in a couple of days. You're going to get a burning. Okay, chlamydia, you may not, like I said, there's no symptoms. HIV, you can have that and not know. The only way you will know if you get tested. The other STIs, you're going to have symptoms. And so once you feel something is burning, something is not working, they're going to go in and get checked up. Not necessarily for HIV. By the time they do have symptoms, they could be in the AIDS stage at that time. cure is relative. There's no cure for virus. But with HIV, we have what we call viral loads and the CD4 cells. Those are the two factors that we determine how ill or how well the person is. If the CD4 cells are very high, that means the person has a good immune system, they're healthy. If the viral load is very, very high, and we go from 50 to however hundreds of thousands they might have, you find that once the viral load is very high, they become symptomatic and sick. With medication, the viral load goes below 50. The machine records from 50 and above. If the viral load is so low that is below 50, they no longer considered to be infectious, or it would not say cured, but asymptomatic, and the risk or the symptoms will be very low. So those are the persons who they will say, well, I've been cured because my viral load is so low, it's undetectable, but they still have HIV virus in the body. Health education is being taught in the school. Ministry of Education has had, and I think they still do have, the program that's called Family Life, the Family Life curriculum. Health education is included in that, because sometimes we are invited to come into the schools and give the HIV or STI presentations during their hours. Mm-hmm. So we have been going into the schools. I'm not too sure how vibrant that aspect in school is now, but we need to do more work in the schools. I do know that, mm-hmm. Especially with the junior high, the students coming from the primary into junior, we find that that's an issue as well. So we try to get into the schools. The country does not believe that we should give condoms to school children. So it does not mean that it should not be made available for them, but we cannot distribute them. Okay, you say that might sound a little hypocritical there, but we're not allowed to take condoms into the schools. Okay, but we have found ways when we have exhibitions in the mall, and we take it out to the community, we'll make condoms available where persons could just come and collect. We also have condoms available in the clinics, okay? And they can get them once they're accompanied with an adult. The condoms are there, but it's against policy for us to give condoms to school-age children. Every time you change your partner, you should take your partner to the lab and have your test done. Both partners, you and your partner, you cannot give what you do not have. So if you're HIV and all of the STI negative, and your partner is HIV and negative for all STIs, none of you can give it to the other. So that is something that we encourage persons who are getting into serious relationships or even contemplating getting engaged or married. You must take your partner to be screened, all STI screenings, so that you know you went into this relationship clean and not fully loaded. Definitely, because how the virus or bacteria is transmitted, once there's a break in the skin. So you brush your teeth, and sometimes you have bleeding. The gum is bleeding. There's a break in the gum. Any bacteria or virus could get into that. Once the oral sex, it goes into the saliva, and therefore there's a chance of you getting an infection like that. We do know that oral and anal sex has been increased in the young generation because women don't want to get pregnant. So one of the ways of not getting pregnant is having anal or oral sex. But oral sex, of course, you have the infections, and anal sex is where you could get HIV. And so because the area is so thin that any break in the skin, once the person has it, you increase your chances for HIV through anal sex. So we do have a lot of young girls who feel as if they can have the oral and have the anal sex and not get pregnant. That's all they're worrying about. They're not thinking about the STIs, and that's a problem. I think that the prevention education should not be left to the healthcare providers. I think parents, siblings, friends need to push that message, because we all know that most of us have been in touch with persons who would have died from not basically STIs but HIV. We would have seen person. Now, STI is so private, persons are not going to tell you they had an STI. But we do know there are some persons who may have contracted the HIV or AIDS at the AIDS stage, and they would have known because of the symptoms. But we would encourage persons, pastors, everyone who has, if you have nieces, nephews, children, godchildren, please get a flyer. When you pack the Christmas gift, put a STI flyer under the wrappings, okay? If you want to show all the pictures, come to us. We can give you those pictures, what the infection looks like. Put it in the gift, so they get a good gift and they get an educational gift as well. It'll save their life. So maybe we could think about that. Do not leave the education just for us. Everybody should be responsible. Because today might be the neighbor, tomorrow might be your door. And so that is the thing. They only, we want persons to know that it does not discriminate. STI does not discriminate. And so if we don't stop the transmission, it will come home to your daughter, your son. It's going to come home because it spreads. And it doesn't matter what the person look like. It's not who a person is. It's what a person does that put them at risk for the STIs. Doesn't matter who that individual is. If they have sex once without protection, they can contract one of the STIs. It doesn't matter their title, and that's important.